You're going to be happy with this one today, Shanks.
Why is that?
So we've got a fellow Welshie on, and not even just a fellow Welshie, a winger. Louis Rees-Zammit, obviously played for Wales, played for Gloucester, transferred over to NFL and the international player pathway. So we're going to get to speak to him about all things USA.
I am
USA. He's got.
I am desperate to get on his coaching staff or his
staff.
His staff in general. Yeah, anything. Like I'll do the big shops.
The big shop.
Do the your drive.
Yeah, I'll do the school pickups.
Yeah.
The lot.
Carry his bags.
Yeah.
Anything you won't do, just so we know your limit. Do you have a limit?
Speaking to me now.
That's true, actually.
There's
That's
no
why I
limit.
asked it.
There is
Bottom
no
line.
limit.
There's no
There's
line.
no limit apart from being his body double. There's no limit.
Oh, his hair double. His hair double. That could be a problem.
He's got it all, hasn't he? He's got
has.
pace, he's got X factor, he's got looks, he's got teeth, he's
tall.
height. Yeah.
I think it's an amazing move what he's done. Very bold, very brave, and whatever happens to him, I think it's brilliant. I admire him for just having the balls to do that. Really.
In your prime, Katy, if you had to pick another sport to play.
Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah.
So I like the idea of quarterback NFL or Aussie rules. I flipping love Aussie rules. Other than the running.
I think Aussie rules would suit you more because obviously you're a 10 and kicking. You know, like naturally.
Thanks. You?
Golf.
Yeah, it'd be lovely, wouldn't it?
I love it. Like as a golfer, you travel the world. You know, you follow the sun.
I mean, golf is such a mental journey.
Yeah.
And just being so up and down must be so.
Basically, what Law's trying to say, Katy, is that I'm not mentally tough enough for golf. Okay.
Or he's not mentally tough
No,
enough.
I just think the game of golf.
No, you're right, Lol. I'm not. All right.
No, I didn't mean it like that. I meant the game of golf.
Yeah, that would be the only issue I'd have. Is it is because I'm still partial to the odd club throw.
Are you?
Yeah.
Are you a club breaker?
Used to be. Now they're too expensive.
You were Tyrrell Hatton.
Yes. McElroy slammed the tee box, didn't he?
He had a right go at one.
Yeah. What about you, Lol? What sport?
Listen, I know it seems a bit far-fetched, but I wanted to play football growing up. We all did in this country anyway. And everything about football and the passion that fans have for it, I think I would have enjoyed that.
Do you know what I'd like now? I'd love to be like darts player. I think when you walk out, the walkout music is unbelievable. Like the crowd going wild. I think it's the best part of darts. It doesn't get better than that.
Yeah. The fan experience in that sport, and even the players feel like rock stars.
It's amazing. Looks, I'm desperate to go to Ali.
Well, listen, I've been, and I know, Flats, you love a bit of fancy dress as well, don't
You just call me Flats. Billy.
You can see
It's not. We get that a lot.
Do you?
Yeah, people come up to me and go, "Where's Shanks?" I said, "It is
I'm
me."
here. What would you go as?
What was that tour that you were on with Wales, and then at the end of the tour you all wore fancy dress? Come on.
Yeah, it was a quarter session.
Right.
And they dressed me up as Sloth from the Goonies. So I had a Superman t-shirt on, I had a sword, and if I wanted to speak, I had to say, "Hey, you guys," before I spoke. Otherwise, I'd have to neck a pint.
Okay, imagine you're in costume now.
Hey, you guys, which way are we going here now? Left.
Boring.
I've always wanted to do it, and like my family know that. Like I wanted to do it like 4 or 5 years ago. It was a tough decision because there's one person that told me I'll never play for Wales. Eddie Jones rang me first to play for England.
Without fans and the soundtrack of sport, there's no emotion.
It was actually the first time I had fans was in Cardiff and we played South Africa, and it was sold out stadium. It was unbelievable. And I ended up pulling Skivs and Alex James into a room, and I ended up saying, am I allowed to leave next week?
You clearly, pass every test, otherwise they wouldn't have taken you. I mean, they're that brutal about it, aren't
No, they are. They're completely ruthless.
Have you ever thought about maybe leaving the door open for a return to Union?
I mean, that's why I did it at such a young age. I knew I can come back to rugby. They've got the most competitive team. Yeah. I'm competing with the best players in the league.
Did you meet Taylor Swift, basically, is what we're trying to ask?
No, I went to her show in Cardiff and I've got a letter from her. And you obviously leave Bill on the side of the field. He's gone after training, you don't even know.
See you later.
He was up in the tree, so I had to try and climb a tree to get Bill back.
Those lines get everywhere, don't they?
today's local delicacy,
Okay.
before we even introduce you, because this is like serious, it's made by Ellie. It's a mum's recipe, and they're called sticky fingers. However,
Have you ever had sticky fingers?
Never.
Steady
No.
on.
stop now.
No, I've not tried it
They're
either.
squares though, and they don't look like fingers, and they're not sticky.
No.
But apart
they
from
look-
that-
they
They
look good,
look
though.
fantastic.
They are.
And I think it would be remiss if we didn't. Let's have a little taste now, whilst
Okay.
they're still it's not melted.
Yeah, before it is
Yeah.
flat.
I like them.
Oh, Ellie, they're lovely.
Well done, Ellie. Now, more importantly, welcome
Thank you.
to Stick to Rugby. It's obviously great to have you on here, Lewis. Generally, we start with a nice little warm-up. It's in the form today of our community questions.
Well, speaking of warm-up, these two are looking rather warm. We
Yeah, me and you are on a
obviously
different
Feeling it a
vibe.
little bit as well.
have to talk about the double G there. It's all about the double G.
Well, I saw Lewis put a jumper on. I thought, well, I'm going to put one on.
Yeah.
There.
Did
Yeah,
you?
That's Gucci.
He's got the single G.
You've got
Yeah, they're a
the-
bit different in
you've got
vibe.
G.
That's what the kids do.
Do they give them out to all delivery drivers? Do they?
Or Uber drivers.
Come on.
Lawrence is the type of guy that looks at what's a...
Go on then, get it out.
Hold on.
That was your moment.
That was it.
Come on, when you can English, come
stuttered.
back to us. You got the shakes. You got the shakes.
Do you want to go again?
No, I don't want to go again.
No, I remember when I had my first one.
Questions for you.
Okay.
Do you have any pre-match superstitions?
I actually don't.
So your superstitions is not to have any superstitions, which is a superstition. Yeah. There we are.
Your sporting hero?
Shane Williams,
Good one.
100%.
Shanks thought it was going to be him, but hey. Best friend in rugby?
I had a few actually. I got Johnny Williams is my best friend.
Few friends or few best friends?
A few best friends. Like when I went into camp, I had a load of boys that kind of helped guide me. Like Dan Bigger was the biggest one. He was actually. I've got a photo of me and him in Tiger when I was like just 18. I had a selfie with him, and then he asked me for a selfie after we won the Triple Crown. So it was a pretty cool.
I
Like,
love that.
I do as well.
You've seen it with Anton Dupont and Johnny Wilkinson before.
Yeah, when
When
he's
he
his
was
mascot.
young. Yeah.
Yeah, it was,
Oh,
so
wicked.
Biggs is up there with it.
Nice. Best piece of advice you've received?
Have no regrets. Like, obviously transitioning to the NFL, that was a big step for me. I always thought that if I never did it, I was going to regret it.
Yeah.
So to be able to go and do it and give it a go, I think that was the biggest thing for me, just having no regrets and just keep going, really. Just keep pushing yourself, chase your dreams, and see how it goes.
What's your favourite movie?
Titanic, probably.
Good one.
You romantic.
Yeah.
Oh,
Titanic.
as well.
And then I
I
also
see a bit
do
of
like
Leo DiCaprio in it as
I
well.
was going to say, and I also like Wolf of Wall Street, which is completely opposite side, but the Titanic is probably my favourite film.
There's a bit of devil and angel on both shoulders.
Yeah.
Who would you play? Who would play you in your movie?
Yeah, we've already said it. Amen.
Leo.
You can say him.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You take that?
Yeah.
That'd be a pretty decent one, yeah.
First car you owned.
I had a Polo.
And then what other sports do you follow?
Every sport.
Big sports fan.
Yeah, massive sports fan. I've always tried to play as many sports as I can, just to be able to do it. Like,
Did you have an NFL team growing up? What was your
yeah,
NFL team?
it was the Washington Redskins at the time. My dad's always supported them, and we went to one of their games in Wembley when I was just growing up against the Bengals. But I'll never forget that day because that was my first ever NFL game. But the Redskins were my dad's favourite team and mine. So
Talking about your
Nice.
dad's favourite team, you come from a very sporting family,
Yeah.
really. I think your mum played
Yeah.
netball for Wales.
Yeah.
Dad played American football. I didn't know this. Played American football for Cardiff Bay Tigers. Is that
yeah,
right.
yeah. And then he went to Oxford then. So
Right.
Apparently your dad was rapid.
yeah, he was. He was.
He was telling me that himself, actually.
He definitely picked up the right child at hospital.
Yeah, so we used to like race the car after every training session pretty much, and up until I was genuinely like 16, he was beating me. And I was meant to be quite quick when I was
he then?
16.
How old was he then?
He would be in his 40s.
Wow.
Your uncle played rugby, I think,
Yeah.
for Cardiff, Pontypool.
Yep.
And your brother Taylor played rugby for Landaft. Didn't he?
Yeah,
Landaft?
and he got a cap for Malta as well.
What position was he? Taylor.
He played second row or back row.
Yeah.
A cap for Malta.
Got a cap for Malta, international cap. Right. You'll like that behind there.
So where does that come from in your family?
My dad.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, my dad's family are from
And
Malta.
then you've come along and outdone them all, really. So you love your rugby from your uncle, NFL from your dad, but what were you always going to be rugby, or what did you like most as a kid? Were you kind of
I like
try everything?
It was try everything.
Yeah.
And then I loved football.
Yeah.
But obviously I got to the age like 15, 16 that I was way better at rugby. So I kind of just went through that path naturally. Went to Hartbury.
That's a very good way of putting it. I was better at rugby rather than saying I wasn't very good at football.
Rather than the rest of us have failed footballers.
Yeah.
Turned to rugby.
And who were your football team in who were the Welsh kind of football idols that you had growing up, or might have even been English ones? I don't know.
I mean, Gareth Bale was
obviously
the massive one. Aaron Ramsey.
Yeah.
Joe Allen. There was loads, but
Yeah.
I mean, I love Cristiano Ronaldo. He's also my hero, one of my sporting heroes. So.
I really like him as well. Just a little bit.
I wish.
So when did it start to be rugby for you? What age? I mean, was it 14, 15?
It was like GCSE year, 15, and then I went to Hartbury then. That was kind of the time where I went down the rugby route, went to Hartbury, and it just kicked off from then, really.
Always a winger, or was it just something that sort of came naturally?
No, so from the age of 7 to 12, I was a scrum half. Did you do East and West Wales?
No.
Under 11s?
No.
So I was capped for Wales at under 11s at scrum half. And then I played 10, then I played 13, and I got pushed out to the wing.
You were captain when you were 11?
Yeah, as in
Yeah.
the East Wales.
Yeah.
It was. But yeah, I kind of just got forced out to the wing.
So the fact that your dad played American football, you must have. I mean, this transition, everyone thinks is, you see as being quite amazing, but you would have been around an American football at home, or you would have, you'd have played a little bit of American football when you were younger. So it wasn't a far-flung dream for you to go, actually, one day maybe I'm playing rugby now, but I want to play American football. Is that how it worked out?
Yeah, I mean, me and my brother would always watch American football on the TV when we were younger, and had the balls in the house and stuff like that. Because my dad, he didn't really play rugby at all.
Right.
Like growing up, he would have done it in school, but then he just, I don't know, him and his friends used to just love American football, so that's when they played American football here in Cardiff and in Oxford when he went to play there. So it wasn't like, I've always wanted to do it, and my family know that. I wanted to do it 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah. But it was just about the right timing, to be honest.
So did you play flag football before you played?
No, I've always played rugby. I'd never played American football before, flag or contact. So my first game was in the NFL. My first ever American football game was in the NFL last year. But I've always loved the sport, and I've always wanted to go out and do it. It was just how I was going to do it, what program I was going to go on to be able to go out to America and do it. And when. And
I suppose, Kate, if you'd have played, you'd have been a quarterback, really, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think or maybe field goal kicker.
Yeah, kicker.
Special teams seems like the gig.
Obviously, we'd look at ourselves as
running back or something like that, I think.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think I could have done a wide receiver. I wasn't fast enough. Or
hard yards.
Yeah.
I'd go with a tight end for me.
Who's the guy? Who's the guy that just holds the ball puts a finger on it for the?
He's the punter.
But no,
he's got to be the second choice punter.
No, I want to hold the ball like that.
Yeah, for the kicker.
Yeah.
No, the punter does that.
Oh, okay.
So he's got to punt and he's got to be the holder.
Okay.
You get 2 jobs.
Yeah, you get 2 jobs.
Yeah. You don't get to hit field goals. You just get
You get to hold it.
Tommy 2 job. But we're going to get to sort of the end of your career so far, which is NFL. But if we take you back to the start, as a young player, you joined Gloucester Academy. Mm-hmm. How old were you there? Where did they sign you from?
So I was at Cardiff. Schools did Cardiff Blues under 16s, and then I wanted to go to Hartbury, but Cardiff Blues said if you go across the bridge, you're not allowed to play for Cardiff. So I ended up just making the decision to leave Cardiff Blues, went over to Hartbury College, and then within 2 weeks, I had a trial at Gloucester's Academy. So that's when I got picked up from Gloucester. But before that, when I ended up making the decision to leave Cardiff Blues and go to Hartbury, it was a tough decision because there's one person that told me I'll never play for Wales. But I sat down with my family and was like, I want to go over to Hartpury because of how well known it is for producing, obviously, great players.
Also good education.
And good education as well. Yeah. So I went to do A-levels there. After a day, I knew all the rugby players that did a BTEC. So instantly I switched to do a BTEC, which is quite funny because all my classes, I was with all the rugby boys. So you can imagine what the rooms were like. And, the studying in the library and stuff was not really there. We were just... we were just fully focused on rugby at that point. And 2 weeks in, joined Gloucester and then did the academy.
That one person that told you you'll never play for Wales, have you seen that player?
Do you want to name and shame him now or not?
Well, it's Richard Hodges, yeah.
Okay.
So he was obviously the Cardiff Blues head of academy at the time.
You do the Pretty Woman, yeah. Huge mistake.
I suppose that the theory behind it was they really wanted you to stay here and they were trying to probably scare you a little bit.
No, 100% they were trying to scare me. They said it to me and my dad because I went to watch a Cardiff Blues game, a first team game, just as a fan, and then he said that to me and my dad after, and it kind of actually just put me off it. I was like, all right, I'm definitely going over there.
You hear that with a lot of like top athletes, don't you?
I just think rugby.
100%.
Everyone wants you to be a rugby player, but they shouldn't take away your education either at the same time. And I think professional rugby clubs, and they're no different in the UK, in England as well, by the way, where they want you to spend more time around the first team if you're talented, like you are, and you're young. So they actually say, oh, well, don't worry, we'll support your education. But they're not really thinking like that, to be honest.
That's for you, isn't it?
What they should say is carry on getting your degree, finish your degree, and when you're ready, we'll have you,
Yeah. And that was with you, wasn't it? School was important, but rugby was important to that.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, I think I got, I mean, listen, I suppose not sure I spent much time at school, actually. We move on.
So you make your debut for Gloucester.
Yeah.
I think you are one of the youngest club Premiership player to make your debut.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy those tags? Is it nice to look back on and think, I must have been good to be so. I was that young.
Yeah, it was.
Or they were just desperate.
One or the other, But it was.
Yeah, you take it.
It was crazy because there's like Academy League, and I got my opportunity to play in it, and basically I scored a try from kickoff, and the week after I got my Premiership debut. So it was like making impact for them. The coaches. Obviously, the academy coaches coached that team, but that game we played Bristol, and our first team coaches actually went to the game, and I ended up coming on. One of the boys got concussed. I came on within like 20 minutes, and my first touch of the ball was from kickoff. They kicked it deep instead of just catching it, kicking off the field. I just thought I'm just going to run this back, and I ended up running around everyone and scoring in front of my coach. And then automatically the week after then I put on the bench.
Special teams, special plays.
You're the youngest person ever to score a hat-trick as well in the Premiership, I believe. Do you remember that?
Yeah, it was against Northampton.
Yep.
Biggs was actually playing that game, which is funny.
And did you follow the tradition of having to buy everyone a pint afterwards?
I didn't because we lost a game. Yeah, we lost a game. Someone else scored a hat-trick on their team and they got man of the match as well.
Oh, that's nothing worse, is there?
Yeah, I thought I was in for my first man of the match, Premiership man of the match award, and it got taken away from me.
What point then are you thinking, will Wales come knocking on the door? Was it in the back of your mind at all, thinking, right, I'm playing well now?
It won't be Richard Hodges, will it?
I'm playing well now.
Yeah.
Surely at some stage they're going to make contact.
Yeah, but actually, Eddie Jones rang me first to play for England. And I think Wales found out about that. And within a day, I had Pivac call me.
Yeah.
But it turns out I'm not English. Yeah. It was more... I wasn't actually English qualified, but Eddie Jones rang me asking if I was and if I wanted to be involved. Because I actually did an England camp when I was younger, but I don't think you need to be like...
But how long had you been at Gloucester at that point?
2 years.
Yeah, so it was only one more year. You would have been English qualified.
Yeah.
Did Malta come calling as well? Try and pick you up?
Yeah, they didn't want me. They wanted my brother instead.
They needed a second row. Too many wingers. Yeah. But you made your debut then in 2020 for Wales.
Yeah.
Do you remember it? Was it a blur? Do you remember the build up to it, the nerves?
Yeah, but I actually did a full campaign without playing. So I went into the 2020 Six Nations and I didn't end up playing. Pivac didn't pick me. But at the end of that, we had COVID. Do you remember that Wales were meant to play Scotland and COVID, the pandemic hit, and like game got cancelled.
So you'd been around the squad for every game of the Six Nations.
Yeah.
But never in the match day squad,
Never in
or
the
just in
match
the
day.
wider training group. But you never got picked for a game.
I never got picked, so I never got capped. But I would have still been 18, so I would have been like one of the youngest players.
Right.
And it didn't turn out to happen. But then the autumn internationals played France away, and that was my debut for Wales.
Do you remember like ringing home and telling your mum, dad, and your brother, and your family?
Yeah. So basically, Pivac said to me, we had a Bronco test, we had a fitness test, and he said, if you do well in this fitness test, you'll play on the weekend. And
Never ran so fast.
It doesn't matter, you've broken your hands.
Inspiring, that is inspiring.
Yeah. Turns out I didn't actually run that well, but he picked me anyway, so I was pretty lucky. But no, yeah, that was my first game in the Stade de France.
It's not bad.
Unfortunately, there was no crowd, but it was still, you're playing for your country, like it's a massive honour.
Was that difficult for you, like play as a player? Because you'd be used to crowds, playing for Gloucester.
Yeah, yeah.
But when you come internationally, then you're around these massive stadiums, and it's empty.
Yeah.
Does it change your nerves? Does it change the way you approach games?
Well, I didn't know any different, so like that was, it probably eased me into international rugby, to be honest, because I didn't have anything to think about other than playing rugby, which I was loving at the time when I was on form, so I was just trying to continue to play well.
And that moment will always go down as your first cap.
Yeah.
But let's take us forward to the first time you played in front of a crowd, which would have felt like your first cap for real.
Yeah.
Was that and probably for a team that's so passionate about rugby, a country like Wales, it had to be in Cardiff. What was your first game in Cardiff? Let's just call that your first cap.
That was my first. It was actually the first time I had fans was in Cardiff, and we played South Africa, and it was sold out stadium. It was unbelievable. But I'd actually had like 13 caps by then.
Yeah.
So I was.
It must have still felt like your first
Yeah,
cap.
I felt like I'd never played from before, because it was just so different. Going on the team bus on the way to the stadium, going onto the perch, seeing all the crowd. It was like, this is unbelievable.
Walking out that tunnel, looking around, it's massive, isn't it?
And then you hear the anthem for the first time with a crowd, like on the field. It was just.
Because I'm not being funny. I love our fans, right? We have a lot of passionate people in England, but there's only a few that watch rugby, whereas everyone in Wales.
Lives and breathes.
Where would be the most
like South
passionate
Africa
place?
as well. I
don't know if I'd go to Scotland. I really like that anthem.
I do as well.
It's got a good anthem.
I love the anthem.
Stick to Rugby, brought to you by Defender.
How do you feel when you're looking at Welsh rugby now and you're seeing the poor results, the run of form they've been on?
Well, it's obviously not great to see, is it? I think, to be honest with you, like when it comes down to the regions, whether we lose one to help grow the game in Wales and help those players develop and play better players with each other, make it more competitive. I don't know. I try and stay away from that side of it.
They've got to do something.
There's no right or wrong at the moment.
Stop people doing what you did and say, I want to go and play. I want to go over the border. So they've got to do something.
Isn't it not a problem to do something for short term? Like you say, they've got to do something. So it's not saying this is going to be whatever happens, it's going to be forever. It's just going to be while we kind of sort out what the game needs in Wales to make it better, and then we restructure again. Everything seems always very final, so nobody wants to do anything because they're so worried about that. We're going to be stuck like this forever. Surely it's just, we need to fix something.
But this has been ongoing for ages now.
Yeah.
We're still no closer as to what the final decision is going to be.
It's crazy.
But
How
having
else
said
we
that,
work?
they have made some appointments. So Dave Redding's come in.
Yes.
And he's obviously got he's got to do things quite quickly, and I think they will start to. It looks like they're training pretty hard. So that,
It will.
You'd like to think that they've got to as low as it's got to, and it'll only be upwards from now.
And how do you think the tour will go? Because I'm quite positive about the Welsh tour to Japan, because I think there's a lot of form players in there. Obviously, Wales aren't losing too many to the Lions, they're losing 2 players. So there's a big bulk of that squad that is available.
And it's also a good place to start again.
Yeah.
Because if you go to South Africa or you're going to New Zealand,
I think that's probably the issue we've had in the past. All of our summer tours have been
tough.
Ones that it's nearly impossible to beat them with what we're dealing with. So I think the fresh start, if Matt isn't the actual head coach, obviously he's interim at the minute, when they finally get a head coach, I think that'll be very important, implementing systems and and allowing those players to thrive under a certain system is going to be huge.
I think that's the big key at the moment for Wales is how do they want to play?
Yeah.
How do they what's the blueprint of a Welsh team now?
And Shanks, what's the word on the street then? Who is going to get that job?
I don't know. There's names being thrown out there, but at the moment, we're trying to sort out how many teams we got. What does professional rugby look like? I think that's probably the biggest thing before we look at who's going to coach Wales.
I thought with that top on, you'd know the word on the street.
Is there like an
I'm
end
a
date?
geezer.
Is there an end date?
I'm a
when
mini lol.
New person.
You are,
Could you
actually.
imagine?
Hey?
Two with lols. It's not what the studio needs.
Night outs would be amazing. It's the team socials, the court sessions.
Oh, as long as you win.
Yeah. There'll be some great team talks in there as well.
I didn't go out when we lost, though.
There'll be some great team talks in there as well.
But is there an end date when Wales will have a new head coach and all of this?
There's not at the moment. It's not put it's not a
By the summer
time
tour,
scale.
yeah.
No, I think the summer tour is right. Can we get a win?
And that's
And who's in best position to do that? And I think it is Matt Sherratt, who took over during the Six Nations. I think Wales will be happy with winning one, losing one in Japan. At least we won one game.
Yeah.
And Japan are obviously a pretty decent team now. You've seen that in the victories they've had in the World Cup.
Yeah.
So I think you'd take that at the moment.
What would you say to date has been your greatest day in a Welsh jersey then?
I think that Scotland try. I think just that game in general, how we were we were obviously down and it was a very tight game.
Yeah.
And then being able to score that try with 10 minutes to go. Personally for me, that was definitely the best moment.
Yeah.
And being able to get that win.
Because it effectively turned the game, won the team the game as well.
Yeah, and that's why it was such a big moment for me because I felt like I actually helped the team. I scored 2 tries that game, and then we went on to end up playing France for a Grand Slam, and we ended up losing in the 82nd minute. Yeah. But I think that game for me personally was kind of the game that put me on the map kind of thing, on the radar.
Is that when you gasped past Stuart Hogg at 15? Is that the one? Yeah.
The chip and chase.
The chip and chase, yeah. I remember it really well.
Tried to make that my thing, the chip and chase.
You play well for your club, you play well for your country, you get selected on the Lions tour. A lot of people, say that's the best achievement that you can get. It's the pinnacle. What did you make of it? How did you find the tour?
Obviously, COVID, we were stuck in the same hotel for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
We weren't allowed out. We couldn't see any fans.
It's not really.
It didn't feel like I was on a Lions tour at all. So
I feel like you're at the Vale of Glamorgan Hotel.
Yeah, just in South Africa.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a weird feeling because obviously you're representing the Lions, but then at the same time, there's no fans there.
Yeah, you're not
And
getting.
You're the youngest player on tour, so you obviously have to take the line everywhere. But it should be the best moment of your life, really.
Yeah, it should be.
Experiencing it in a way that should never, nothing ever comes close to it.
Yeah, 100%. I think the day of the announcement, that was one of the best days of my life. But then when you actually get on the tour and it's just not the same as what you hear from before.
The supporters love it as well because it's obviously a lot closer than New Zealand and Australia. There's better value for the rand, and you get some amazing places in South Africa, and you're knocking that off for another 12 years, aren't you?
Yeah,
and
ultimately
you're not going to visit again.
Sport's about emotion, right?
Yeah.
It's about love, it's about hate, it's about everything in between. And
Feeding
without fans and the soundtrack of sport, there's no emotion, is there, really?
No, it literally felt like we were just playing rugby, that was it. We didn't get to experience going to see fans and how passionate they are about the Lions.
It's like a training game.
Yeah, all of the games did.
Yeah.
Even the test, I was sat up in the stands, but there was 10 people in the stadium.
Yeah. We played at Twickenham.
So you can hear everyone talking.
2020, and it's so eerie. Like you say, you can hear that. It's like having a conversation,
I've got to be
isn't
honest, I don't know about yourself, but I certainly grew up playing second team, then eventually first team rugby, where we played in stadiums like that. That was rugby before it became professional.
Yeah.
There'd be a handful of spectators.
Yeah, but I think there's a difference between a handful of spectators and playing in these iconic stadiums that you've seen full.
Yeah.
So you know what they're like to then go and do it as a...
Yeah. Just doesn't feel right, does it? We had Henry Pollock on here, and he's obviously the youngest Lion this year, and he's looking after Bill, and he's got a few tactics to make sure he's not stolen.
What advice would you give him?
Well, did you have to keep your eye on him constantly, and were there people, splinter groups, trying to steal it?
Oh yeah, there were loads. I ended up getting quite pally with the security team there. So.
They're like SAS, former SAS soldiers. And stuff. Yeah.
So they kind of give me a hint of where they're hiding him. But the best piece of advice is, I mean, try and keep him by your side at all times. But it's when you're training and you obviously leave Bill on the side of the field, he's gone after training. You don't even know.
See you later.
He was up in the tree so I had to try and climb a tree to get Bill back, like in the middle of a training session. So I couldn't.
How'd you get unavailable for selection because you climbed a tree, fell out of it?
Yeah.
Broken your wrist.
Broke your wrist. You're off tour just because someone put Bill up there.
Yeah.
Those lions get everywhere, don't they?
I like that you guys get to keep him though. I think that's a really,
That's
it's
cool.
a really lovely touch.
I didn't realise that actually.
He's huge as well.
Is he?
He's like that big. So like carrying him was
Not going in your rucksack.
no.
He's full size.
Yeah, it was one of the tests. Because I have to keep Bill even in the test, but I had to give him to Alan Wynne-Jones for one of the tests, and I put it next to his locker, but someone had hidden it under like a table, but there was like something on the table so you couldn't see through. So like one of the games, I don't think he actually took him out to one of the games.
You couldn't find him.
They couldn't find him because someone hid him in the locker room before the game.
Oh, surely they had a replacement.
Yeah.
Surely they had a substitute.
I think they did, but
Right.
that's what it gets to.
Listen, we're going to put the subs board up. Enough for rugby for a second. We're coming back to NFL.
Yeah.
We know where your love of NFL came from because your father obviously played. When did you, in your mind, decide that you were going to make that switch?
It was actually 4 days before I flew out to. So I played Edinburgh in the Challenge Cup, and then like a day before I'd spoken to someone on the international player program, and he said I was allowed to, if I could get out of my contract, I was allowed to fly to Florida. And we played on the Saturday. The next Thursday was when I flew out. But after the Scotland game, my parents knew that was my last game. We won, and I ended up pulling Skivs and Alex James into a room, and I ended up saying,
I'm leaving.
am I allowed to leave next week?
Presumably, as soon as you tell them, you know that it's not going to be a secret anymore. It's going to be out there. So
yeah, but because it was such a short period of time, it was within 4 days. On the Monday, went in, didn't train or anything, went and seen Alex Brown, who was the director at the time, and within 2 days we signed off the paperwork, and then I flew to Florida on Thursday. So like no one had time to even, the press didn't have time to even know.
Did it have, or did it take a little bit of talking to and a little bit of negotiating with them?
Oh yeah, it was 2 full days to.
Yeah. No, mate, it's not happening. It's not happening.
Yeah.
Get your boots back on.
tell us now about how difficult it is, because I can't even imagine how difficult it must be. But you know, the thought of doing it with the international pathway is one thing. Actually, when you get there.
Yeah.
And you've seen it, you've grown up with NFL in your family.
Yeah.
It's so hard. Yeah. I mean, where do you even begin?
Yeah, I mean, it is very hard. I think it's mentally hard more than physically. Just learning so many plays, having to get told to play in a huddle, and then within 2 or 3 seconds, I'm lining up, having to think of the formation, the concept, looking at the defense, see what they're in, to see what I can do, how I can change my route. Because sometimes we'll have 2 plays in the huddle, and then he'll look at the defense. If it's not right, then he'll change the play, and then we'll have to know straight away.
A late line-out call or something.
Yeah,
that comes in
it is.
yeah.
But then it's a completely different concept.
Yeah.
So you've got to remember what that concept is. But also, you don't know he's going to call that play in the huddle.
So for you, I get the mental side being the biggest challenge, and just listening to you talk there, it's like, how do you even start? But actually, a lot of players, a lot of people don't even get anywhere close to the NFL if physically they don't hit the numbers. I mean, It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, even if you're born in America, if you can't run this time, if you can't do that. Yeah. So let's just be very clear, you're there because physically first you have to pass all those tests.
Yeah.
And you clearly pass every test, otherwise they wouldn't have taken you. I mean, they're that brutal about it, aren't
No, they are. They're completely ruthless. I mean, within the past 10 weeks I've been training, I've seen maybe 20 boys cut from the team, released.
Just in regular intervals, or like
just every day or every other day I'll see like a new person.
Is it like X Factor? They line you up on stage.
Just because they brought somebody else.
They brought someone else in, they've cut one person, bring another one in. Like, unless you've got guarantee in your contract, because NFL contracts are not guaranteed. Yeah. So it's not like rugby or basketball or any other sport, football. Like,
That's interesting.
your guarantee in your contract means if you don't have any, they can just release you.
Literally on
Gone.
that day, done.
You're a wide receiver, and obviously you played rugby. You catch a rugby ball, it just comes naturally. Do you have to adapt yourself to catch an American football?
Yeah.
And like in terms of technique?
Yeah, obviously you've got the helmet on, you've got the pads. Like the pads, you can't they're obviously stuck on your shoulder, so you can't get certain height with your hands. Like obviously you've got the mask on the helmet. Like you do get used to it though. Like it's not impossible to do.
No.
Like the more balls you catch with a helmet on, the better.
I suppose the vision is, I mean, whereas you could normally feel, and there's a periphery vision that is extended with the helmet. There's only a certain amount.
So you're having to rotate your head more. If the ball's coming over the top, you've got to rotate your head and try and.
Yeah.
It's hard. Don't get me wrong.
And the speed that ball travels at when it's pinged is quick, right?
It's very quick. And if you're running straight and it's coming over your head, like the quarterbacks are able to, you don't have to break stride.
Yeah.
Just drop it in.
It just drops over.
Do you ever think like when you're running, catching that ball, you can't see what's around you, and you know,
you're just so focused on the ball coming on your head.
you know they hit hard.
That's why you see all those collisions.
Yeah.
When they're just looking at the ball, and next minute someone's blindsided.
And are you thinking sometimes when it's in the air, oh no, here it comes.
Yeah.
But you can't do anything about it, can you? Just got to take it.
Yeah, you just got. The main thing is catching that ball.
Yeah.
Catch and brace.
Catch, tap, brace.
So what's it like when you put your kit on, you put the pads on, you put the helmet on? Does it feel a little bit foreign compared to like when you're training?
Yeah, I mean, especially when I've never played it before, and like the first time I put on kit was for my first ever American football game.
Yeah.
That felt weird. It felt so weird.
I'd be interested to know as well when you warm up for training at rugby. You know, some people start a bit early. Some people wait 10 minutes before the start of training, then they come out, and then you all do a team warm up together. I would imagine there must be a lot of faffing with American football. I mean, it would take me forever. It'd be like skiing. You know, tell me, what have I forgotten now? Yeah. You know, I've forgotten everything. Although, so I think I'd have to get up so early just to get ready.
Yeah.
Just to get ready. And your whole approach to the game and your preparation it must make you rethink the way, I don't know, the way you prepare for anything now. It's completely different.
I mean, you do get into the stadium before a game. You'll probably get in there 2 to 3 hours before the game, just to allow everyone to do preparation. You have like a time you have to be there by. Right. You don't take like a bus over to the stadium. Everyone turns up.
Obviously, you're a wide receiver, so like speed is the thing. Like, are you constantly warming up on the sideline? Like, 'cause obviously, what you see, we just see them interchange. You're on, and you're like, right, you expect to do max sprint.
Yeah.
Is it
100%? Because if the defense is out there for a while, like you get cold.
So
and like you'll get stiff. Like you're always like stretching, using like a massage gun, stuff like that.
So you started off as a running back.
Yeah.
Was that your choice or their choice?
That was their choice. I actually, when I went on to the international player program, I was a receiver, and then did my pro day, and then, I mean, a lot of teams thought I was a running back.
And let's just be clear about this. You know, you've made the big switch. So much noise. Hopefully everyone, certainly here and outside exclusively, will just want you to just be the most successful you can be.
Yeah.
And you, hopefully you felt that love, you felt that positivity. You know, there's a lot of people who are cynical who just go, oh, well, you know, he'll be back type thing. But you get picked by not just any team, you get picked by the Kansas City Chiefs. Mm-hmm. And suddenly, I mean, it's, you know, they're the, did they win it 3 times on the trot? I can't remember. Twice, you know, going for the 3-peat, whatever. But Mahomes, they got. Yeah. So you're not just picked up by just any normal team.
Yeah.
I mean, 1, that's obviously very flattering, but 2, that comes with added pressure. Suddenly you're in this environment where, you know, naturally you're being talked about, you're being interviewed. I mean, was that a good thing that it was the Kansas City Chiefs and it just put you right out there straight away, or could it have happened a bit more kind of in a low-profile way? Do you know what I mean?
I don't know. 100%. I think when I joined the Chiefs, it was like the day I signed. Like they flew me there, put me and my family up in a massive hotel, like a penthouse. We went and signed, had like media day, stuff like that. I was on the way back from signing, like I was walking down the street for food with my family, and I'm getting shouted at. Like people excited from the fan base.
I mean, it's not like it went to your head, but it's very hard for all of that to happen, which has never happened to any of us really in the same way. And then suddenly you got to remember, actually, I've never played a game, and I've actually just got to go. I've got to keep my head on my feet on the floor here because I haven't even played a game yet. But yeah, you want to enjoy it because it's a special time.
Yeah.
And everyone around you is really excited for you. I was at home. I was thinking, God, this is amazing.
Yeah.
You know?
I definitely could have, if I ended up choosing a different team, I think it would have been an easier route for me.
Yeah.
Because I've obviously joined the Super Bowl champions. They've got the most competitive team.
Yeah.
I'm competing with the best players in the league. Yeah. I could have taken an easier route, so to say. but
it's not easy
still
to measure yourself against the very best.
Yeah, it's all the same. Just how competitive it is. It's a 90. They go from a 90 to a 53-man roster.
But on the flip side of that, you're rubbing shoulders with some of the greatest players that have ever played the game. Full stop.
Yeah.
And then there must have been a huge learning curve so quickly, in a good way as well.
Did you mean Taylor Swift, basically, is what we're trying to say?
No, I went to her show in Cardiff, and I've got a letter from her at home. At the time, it was wishing me good luck for the Chiefs, and I didn't end up meeting her, but I got a signed letter from her, which was a pretty cool.
Still time.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
yeah.
Stick to Rugby, brought to you by Defender.
You're at the Jacksonville Jaguars now.
Yeah.
How do your times, maybe your sprints or sort of the testing you do, how does that compare with someone that's trained and done NFL all their lives?
Yeah, so they do the 40-yard dash.
Yeah.
So it's literally like a 36-metre sprint.
Yeah. Are you up there?
I mean, I'm up there. I didn't have a very good time on pro day. I had a good time, but it's not what I wanted.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some crazy athletes.
And
in the NFL
do they test and measure? So would the Chiefs do the same measurements as the Jags?
Yeah.
Or is there things that they test?
So the NFL have a
standard.
They have a standard testing, and then scouts from each team.
Yeah, they just bring you all in, don't they? And you
Yeah.
literally just go through a battery of tests with them watching you.
What did you really excel at then? What were you compared to what you thought, or what surprised you? Because you're doing standing jumps, you're doing explosive, everything, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, you are getting tested for everything. Yeah. I mean, even to the nutrition, to the body fat, like we do in rugby, but it's like
precise.
They're all so precise. There's so many eyes on you every day. But yeah, my speed is definitely still my biggest, kind of X factor.
And there must be part of you that's probably got yourself into the best shape of your life ever.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes you realise that if you train like that and you played rugby, how much better would it make you?
You probably couldn't though, could you?
You wouldn't be able to, because the conditioning is nowhere near rugby. So you would be knackered after 5 minutes of playing rugby with the training we do. It's all short, sharp, explosive stuff, sprints. You wouldn't be able to do that in rugby, because you would just be absolutely knackered.
Have you played any NFL time as in in the first team roster? Have you pictured yourself doing that? Have you thought about it? Or is it not one of those things? And I don't know. I mean, I think when I played rugby, I did picture myself playing for my country at some point, and I thought what it must be.
Yeah.
Only when it got a bit closer. But do you dare to let yourself think how that's going to happen, or when that might happen, or do you just think no, I can't be like that. I've just got to stay in. I
mean, it's a bit of both. Because you get to play 3 pre-season games. You're still playing for the team. So it's not like if you get selected on the roster, you've never played for that team before.
Yeah.
So it's that, but also you want to just focus on yourself and be able to train every day the best you can just to make the team and impress the coaches.
At the age of 22, you've got 30 odd caps plus for Wales, and I just think you're not just going over to Japan or Australia to play rugby. You've actually moved continent, you've moved sports. Yeah. You've got to learn. You've moved away from your family. Everything is it's just huge. Yeah. I mean, to do that at the age of 22, I mean, that takes some big balls, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of why I did it at 22, and I didn't leave it a few years, because I knew that if I'm ever going to pick up another sport, I'm going to have to do it younger rather than older. And the fact that I've always wanted to do it, I knew this timing now was the perfect time when I finished a World Cup, I played 32 times for my country. It was I want to go over there and give it a go now, as opposed to giving it one more contract. Yeah. Would have been 26, 27. having to be competing with boys that are 21, going through college, playing their whole lives, it would just never.
And one of your mates, Travis Clayton, you know, who is 24, I think.
Yeah,
he's probably the second player, English-born player, to make it through to the roster. He plays the Buffalo Bills. Has that been good for you? Does that give you hope and that the dream is still very much alive?
Yeah, I mean, I speak to Trav every day. I mean, we went through the same international pathway. I mean, we became best friends from it. Just hearing like how he's doing, and then we just get to communicate and be like, yeah, we're getting these reps each day, because like you're not on the field at all times like rugby. Like you get put in every now and then to try and give it your best shot. So it's interesting to hear from him, to see how he's doing, and then we can kind of relate.
How like regular is that within a training session? Like when
it's like genuinely, it could be like 8 reps a session. And for those 8 reps, you have to be better than the other boys. Like you can't make any mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, to your question, I think it was like a calculated risk that you've taken, and you've looked and thought, one, I love NFL. It's always been in your blood. You might not get this opportunity again, and you've taken it. And I think from going from the Chiefs, the Jacksonville Jaguars, I mean, it's already been a success. There's no doubt about that. It is deemed a success. It has to be, mate, because...
It won't be in your eyes.
But for us on the outside, it is 100%, lasting this long and still going with another team. Have you ever thought about maybe leaving the door open for a return to Union?
I mean, that's why I did it at such a young age. I knew I can come back to rugby.
Maybe, I'm not sure anyone would have you though, mate.
Yeah, I might have to go play for my local team, but...
Yeah. I think so, mate.
But at least I know that I'm at an age where I'll be 25, 26, 24, 25, 26. If I know I'm not making it within those years, so I'll come back and I can...
So just explain that to us, Lewis. So you said there's no guarantees in any NFL contract, but with your pathway, you're on the practice squad.
Yeah.
But presumably you sign a contract for a short period of time, or is it there is some guarantee for you, but there comes to a point where there is then no guarantee. Is that how it works?
Yeah, so everyone signs like a 3-year deal.
Right.
But that contract only becomes valid after the pre-season games. Okay. Because if they cut you from the 90-man roster and they don't put you on the 53, they just rip that contract up.
Right.
And they'll put you on a practice squad contract, which is a certain amount for everyone.
Right.
But some people, like obviously Patrick Mahomes, he's going to have guaranteed in his contract. So they're not going to cut him, otherwise they got to pay the guarantee. But players like me and players like undrafted free agents, that even drafted players, they'll have a signing bonus, which is a guarantee, but then they could cut them the next day. Yeah. So that's how ruthless it is.
Makes you realise we're in a bit of one, rugby players aren't paid anywhere near enough, but also in the comfort zone, aren't they, really?
Yeah.
Because the minute they sign a contract for 3 years, they get paid for 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to, any club out there would want to take someone like you back just because of the X factor you've got. What about, have you ever thought about rugby league?
No, I don't like that sport. I've never really grown up to.
You've not seen those wonderful, beautiful, good looks.
They'd be gone. I once looked like that. Yeah. Believe it or not.
What, when you go to sleep at night, in your dreams.
And what have you thought about life beyond your playing days? Have you thought about that? You're still young, I get that, but have you thought about what life might look like later on? Could you see yourself living in America somewhere?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, our family holiday.
Can I join you?
Bag man?
No.
Do you need a bag man?
Think about it.
Eastern European close protection.
Driver,
yeah. It could be like Entourage.
Okay, so aside from America, what's blown you away about America? Because once you live there, you kind of get used to certain things. We criticise the Americans about some things that we don't like as Brits, maybe like sense of humour and a few other things. But there are things in America that are just so cool.
Yeah.
Just work, and you go, I can't do with this. I can't do without this for the rest of my life. You know?
I mean, personally, because I love sport so much, there's sport on every night. The fans are so passionate about it. Like, they're filling out stadiums every night, whether it's basketball, baseball, NFL. That's the biggest thing that I've loved. When I was in Kansas City, they had a baseball stadium literally like 50 yards away from their NFL stadium. So like midweek, I'd go and watch a baseball game, which was unbelievable because I love sport. So I'm trying to watch as much as I can try and be as busy as I can, minus having to learn all my
Apart from when you're
plays
doing
and
your
stuff.
homework.
But when I do get a bit of time to chill out, like there's so much going on there that you can drive through.
Suppose,
minutes
yeah.
to
It's nice to have people to park your car for you as well, isn't it?
It's like a bee.
That's what I'm saying.
You golf
Valet.
as well. You live in sort of in Florida.
Yeah, there's
Enjoying that?
so many golf courses. Yeah, I'm playing to a decent handicap at the minute, and all of my teammates play golf as well. So that helps.
Shanks
Nice.
mentioned out that he plays golf.
I'm pretty good at golf as well, mate.
Yeah,
So
he's-
that's another thing we get on with. Basically, we can get rid of your brother Taylor, and I'll look after you from now on. Okay?
He stopped you blocking that right
Yapping
side.
about.
But on all seriousness, what's it like having your brother there as well?
Yeah, it's amazing. My whole family came out to Kansas City with me, so they were there the whole time. So it just made everything so much easier to settle in, and all I had to do was kind of just focus on football then, American football. It wasn't, where I'm living, who I'm living with, like getting food. Like my family were there with me from day one, so that was unbelievable. And now my brother still lives with me in Jacksonville. So
Obviously, someone to talk to, because you're fairly new to that area.
yeah, exactly. It's been great having them there, and I mean they've been there since day one in rugby as well. So I've always been able to, lean on them when things haven't gone well, but also they've been able to enjoy the highs that I've had.
Just before we let you go. These are basically either or questions. So, cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee now.
Nice. Early riser or lion?
Lion.
Kelsa breeze.
Book or movie?
Movie.
Sing or dance?
Sing.
Cook or do the dishes?
Neither.
Be a contestant on I'm a Celebrity or Strictly Come Dancing?
I'm a celeb.
Oh, nice. Pizza or pasta?
Pasta.
Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes?
Ooh, that's a big one.
The goat or the goat?
Yeah.
Double goat.
Yeah, I mean, I think Tom Brady now, but I think Mahomes definitely could be.
Okay.
He could overtake him.
Wine or beer?
Beer.
City or countryside?
Countryside.
Ooh. Gareth Edwards or Shane Williams?
Shane Williams.
And pub or restaurant?
Definitely a pub.
Nice. Great job.
Very, very good.
Look, Lewis, it's been great having you on here.
Yeah, it really
Wish you
has.
all the success. We're all behind you. I think what you've done is amazing. You're still there. It's great, and it's been great having you on Stick to Rugby.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.